Back on TYT Sports, Francis Maxwell, Copa America Centenario Final. I'm going to miss saying that. I love saying the full word. Either way, it is a repeat of last year's final, Chile versus Argentina. We're going to break it up into two parts. We're going to talk about Chile, focus on their tactics and how they can defeat Argentina. And we're going to switch it over and talk about the challengers this year, Argentina, trying to knock off the giant for back-to-back titles, potentially, Chile. So let's talk some tactics. So if you see from the lineup here, this is how I imagine Chile will line up against Mexico. You expect Arturo Vidal, of course, to come back into the lineup. At the back, this go-to back four, which has been solid, fair enough, apart from that first game against Argentina. But do not take that as a reference or an inclination of what may happen in this game, because I think Chile weren't all there at the start of the tournament, but my God, they have picked up steam as the competition has moved forward. That 4-3-3, which plays very narrow in the middle, but in any given moment can bang, hit out wide to the likes of Sanchez and Puig, who plays out wide. And Vargas, who has refound his form. He is looking devastated up top. He's onto everything. He's anticipating the ball. Very impressed with the QPR man, or former QPR man, who was, I would say, one of the standouts in Chile's performance at the World Cup and before that, but never really hit the heights after that. But it's good to see him get back up and in confidence as he moves forward. So we're going to talk tactically briefly about Chile, and one thing that I think they're going to have to do to try and exploit Argentina, who have shown very little signs of weakness at the moment. They look dominant at the back as they do going forward. So one thing that Chile has been doing recently, and they did it so well against Mexico and Colombia, but it posed two different problems, and two problems which they exploited very well. So the first thing that they did against Mexico and Colombia is they made sure to try and exploit the fullbacks and make a run checking deep. So this 4-3-3, it might have been, it's either Sanchez on this side or it's Puig on the other. They'll check into feet on a counter-attack. So say the ball's in here, Mexico, or in this case, obviously the light blue, meaning Argentina, say they win the ball in this area. The first thing they're looking to do is free up space in the middle so that they can find the ball into feet and then bang, check in the runner. So hopefully for them, like Argentina will do, is when they're on the attack, they'll press high up, similar to what Mexico and both Colombia did. So take, for instance, the first goal against Colombia. All it took was two separate movements of that ball. This is what counter-attacking football is all about. So the fullback banged it into feet here and made the overlap and run and drew out the wide man, which created space in here, in which the ball was able to be checked into feet, bang, 1-2, and you're suddenly in behind. And now what this causes is a question for the centre-back. Do I step across or do I stay put and leave this massive gap? It is the worst problem for a centre-back to face this problem. So in the Colombia instance, the centre-back was caught in two minds. He quite literally hesitated, moved in here. That slight hesitation offered enough space in here for midfield runners to steam through and stretch their back line. So they ended up looking something like this. And this is exactly what Chile want, because they go forward so quick. So if I remove all this pen here that looks a little crazy, moving forward, they had all this space, which allowed for midfield runners to make the run in. And in doing so, the ball was whipped in at the back post. And because everyone was so split, it allowed for the last-minute run into the box. And in Cuadrado's instance, everyone's chasing their tail to try and find a way back, that he's running back at such high speed. When the ball comes in, he just heads it whatever direction he's in. But because everyone is so split, it allowed for the man in back post to simply stick it home, because they're so split in this area. This is what they'll want to do to Argentina. Rojo likes to step out as well. Rojo's naturally, I believe, a better centre defender. But because you have Otamendi in there and other Argentina centre-backs, especially with Mascherano providing that cover, Rojo does an okay job at full-back, but they haven't exploited him yet. So expect Alexis Sanchez to maybe switch sides at one point, draw out Rojo in there, maybe Puig will drop a little bit deeper and drag out Rojo so that it poses a question for Otamendi to maybe step outside of his comfort zone, for Mascherano to sit a little bit deeper. Because at the moment, people are alluding to Messi controlling things for Argentina and Di Maria coming up with goals and Higuain. Mascherano has been the standout player for Argentina at the moment. He quite literally has everyone on a string. You move, I'll press. And he has been, I would say, orchestrating every single piece of their pressure. It's funny because when you think about a team that's so attacking minded, you don't expect a playmaker to kind of be playing that role as to when to put pressure on. He's playmaking their defensive capabilities, which is kind of astounding, but that's what Mascherano does well. He tells them when to step and when to not. So if you make him drop a little bit deeper than he wants to and make their back line a little bit more stretched than what they should be, then Chile might find some, I would say, some gaps back there that they can try and exploit, similar to what they did in the tournament last year. So expect that to be the main tactical approach for Chile going forward, to check deep, draw out Argentina's fullbacks or even their centre-backs if they get a little bit antsy to step out to the ball. And all they need is that little gap in between, a couple more millimetres, centimetres, yards, whatever metric system you're using to find space for Alexis Sanchez to move in and to try to find space for Vargas to maybe get on the end of more crosses. And in doing so, they will cause some problems. So I'm not going to give you my prediction here because that means that you might just tune out and not want to check out the Argentina clip. But I'm going to wait until the Argentina clip, and then you can head over there and see my prediction. So make sure to check out that clip. It should be up by now when you're watching this video. If not, give it 10, 15 minutes. Come on, relax. The final's not until this weekend. Either way, hit us up on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell, on TYT Sports on Twitter, as well as at TYT Sports, and on Facebook for all the good stuff. Catch you soon.